Everyone knows therapy is great for solving problems, but getting therapy has its own problems too, like finding the right therapist, fitting into their schedule, and of course, the cost. Well, BetterHelp can solve those problems. It's totally online and built around your schedule. It's surprisingly affordable too. Connect with a credentialed therapist by phone, video, or online chat, all from the comfort of your home. Visit BetterHelp.com to learn more and save 10% on your first month. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P.
Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it.
All right, we're going to kick things off with a PSA, a public service announcement. If you live around high voltage power lines, they are very dangerous. You don't want to climb them. Here's what happened. In Portland, Oregon, this guy decided to climb a power line tower for the ultimate selfie. Oh, the view, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to get all these likes and comments, and people are going to go, oh gosh, I can't believe you would do such a dangerous thing. Okay, it didn't end well. He didn't die, but after getting electrocuted and falling 40 feet, the transformer blew. But luckily, an off-duty paramedic just happened to be nearby and just sprang into action. The victim was conscious, breathing after the fall, went to the hospital, everything's fine. But here's the deal. High voltage power lines can pack a punch with up to 57,000 volts. I'll tell you one thing about this guy. He is not mentally grounded. And on that note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to this. It's America's largest show about all things digital. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, your beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And let me tell you, you're about to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I just want you to think about that. And if you're a brand new listener to the show, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. And if you're a regular listener, welcome back. Now, you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. You can also find us in your favorite podcast player. Just search for Kim Commando Show. And you can find us with commercials and commercial free. And you can also get the Kim Commando Show commercial free as part of your Commando community membership. Yes, commercial free. I did say that. Alrighty, I need two things from each and every one of you. The best way for me to continue to grow the show is for you to tell one friend. That's it. And number two, tell me what you want to hear more about. Head over to commando.com and then hit that link that says Ask Kim. Every single day, just for you, I visit at least 35 or 40 different sites to make sure that we are both up to date on everything that's going on in the tech world. And let me tell you, every single day is a brand new day. Just so many things are changing right now. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know that's happening about tech right now. And we're going to start with the news, because whether you're liberal or conservative or somewhere in between, the news media is America's favorite punching bag. And this punch may soon be lethal. Now, I'm not saying that the news media is dead. Don't be putting that on social. But what I am saying is that there are about to be a lot less of news media sites. Why? Because Google's latest artificial intelligence is taking dead aim at the media. Okay, here's what's going on. When you search for a news story, instead of listing various news websites that have various versions of the story, Google's new AI is going to scan the internet and piece together its own version of the story for you. And let me tell you, news gathering organizations are up in arms. You see, if Google sends them less traffic, that translates into what? Fewer readers, and that translates into slashed advertising revenues. So for major news sites, that could mean layoffs. For the smaller sites, probably bankruptcy. And for you and me, this means that Google AI, with whatever bias it has, is about to become your media gatekeeper. And let me tell you, the most distrusted name in news. Moving on to number 2, get this. There are now 5,504 Starlink satellites in low Earth orbiting, bringing high-speed broadband service to almost anywhere on Earth. This is amazing. But by the end of the summer, a new generation of Starlink satellites will begin communicating with your cell phone so that this way you will never be out of range again. By the end of August, SpaceX will have its first direct-to-cellular phone service ready to go. This is really big news. T-Mobile customers are going to get it first with basic texting on regular unmodified 4G and 5G phones. Now, by mid-next year, SpaceX and T-Mobile are planning on opening satellite-based cell service, data, and voice by the end of the year. Wow, isn't that something? It really is. Now, the connection's not going to be the fastest like 5G. It's going to be more like LTE service, but it's going to be everywhere. But hold on, there's more. AT&T said they're going to be launching their satellites with AST Mobile also this summer. Wow, isn't that something? Moving on to number 3, the top 3 email scams that are happening right now I need to tell you about. Number 1, email disguised as banks and delivery services. They are the main culprits. Very cleverly disguised email that looks almost exactly like the bank or delivery company. That's it. Number 2, you have a package. It's from the post office. Just click the link. Don't do that. The post office, the USPS, they're never going to send these messages. Okay, then we also have UPS services. Your delivery driver can't find your address. Once again, do not click. And finally, the fake bank employee. Please kindly send me your secret banking PIN or a temporary access code. Oh, come on, people. You got to be smarter than this. Moving on to number 4, let's have a little fun and remember some phrases that we used to use every single day. But as popular as they were, we're never going to use them again. Here's one that you used all the time. You remember this one? Did you drop off the film to get developed? Yeah. What about, hey, where's the nearest payphone? Yeah, there's an entire generation of people who have never, ever seen or used a payphone ever. Where are the yellow pages? Don't forget to rewind because you got to take that back to Blockbuster. That's kind of a twofer. Or how about one that's a little bit non-tech? Hey, roll down the window back there. And of course, one we can never forget, I'll fax that right over to you. Yeah, I know. Isn't it crazy when you think of all this tech that we had and it was like so amazing that we could use it? Now we look back and go, oh, seems a little archaic. Finally, this coming in at number 5, this is super serious. And I know that you want to have a lot of fun this Memorial Day weekend. But most of us have heard about all the cyber attacks on America's hospital chains. And we maybe just shrug them off and say, oh, well, you know what? That's just another cyber attack. What does that have to do with me? All right, let's talk about Ascension, the nonprofit healthcare system operating 140 hospitals across 19 states. It's a big operation. Now, recently, their entire operation was reduced to notebooks and Post-it notes. All electronic patient charts were just frozen. Now, what are inside these charts? Oh, yes, the patient's entire history, the core of the hospital's ability to provide care. Lives were at risk. It was a ransomware attack. So here's what you need to do. I want you to go old school on me. I want you to make a list of all your medications. Contact your doctors and get physical copies of all your medical records. Now, keep them safely with you so that should a medical emergency happen, your chances of survival are not compromised by cyber criminals or a hospital trying to figure out how to pay some ransomware. Now, if you are on an iPhone, I want you to look deep inside your health app because inside there's a way for you to download all your medical records, all of them, to a PDF. I did that myself. 66 pages. Wow. Going all the way back to 2012. And I was so impressed with myself. I'll tell you this just for a second. Is that I thought, oh, I wonder how much I weighed in 2012. How much I weigh? So I looked it up and I was like, I weigh 2 pounds less now. I was like, whoa, okay. This is a good thing. All right. Coming up, let me tell you, it's just jam-packed. We're going to talk about binge watching. One great trick when you're traveling. 5 places that you're being recorded about right now, and you're like, I had no idea that was happening. Also, if you're getting credit card solicitations in the mail, there is a way for you to make that stop. And you need to make it stop because what? Mail theft is on the rise. Now, it seems like every time you turn around, you're like, oh my gosh. All right. And then we have all of your great phone calls, and you have me, Kim Commando.
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
So how would you like to win a brand new iPhone 15? You can. A $799 new iPhone may have your name on it. But in order to win it, you got to enter. And where do you do that? winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Go there right now while you're thinking about it. Now, what's the catch? You have to get at least a couple of issues of my free newsletter, which you're going to love. And by the way, if you already get the newsletter, you can still enter to win. Again, that address, winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. Oh, and I was looking at the number of positive reviews the other day. It's so amazing. Thank you guys and gals. Really warms my heart. I'm so glad that you guys love it. Over 223,000 thumbs up. Whoa. Our rating right now is 4.92 out of 5 stars. So, I mean, all those people can't be wrong. So you want to go to winfromkim.com. All righty then. How about we start with Daniel in St. Paul, Minnesota. Hi there, Daniel.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking my call. So I try to listen to you every week, and I have to tell you, I hope it's okay to tell you this. About a year or so ago, you let all your listeners know about the need to make an urgent security update on iPhones and to do it right away. And my wife has the X phone, and she never got any kind of a notification, from her carrier or from Apple. She had to proactively go into settings on her X phone in general and software update, and she got that emergency update right away just because you announced it on the show. So thank you.
You betcha.
Yeah, it was huge. Absolutely. So what's going on now is that my wife has never had her own laptop. She has her work laptop, but she never had her own laptop. So I want to get her a laptop for her birthday. And I was looking for your advice because I'm an end user. I don't know anything about computers. I could tell you what she wants to be able to do. She wants to be able to connect to her iTunes. She wants Microsoft Office. She's into Excel, the professional Excel. Mm-hmm. So she wants the spreadsheets. She wants to be able to store pictures. She wants to be able to have iTunes, listen to iTunes. She wants to be able to make long-distance phone calls using WhatsApp, Skype. She wants to be able to watch movies on Netflix and on TV if that's possible, through an Ethernet, cable, not a cable,
Wi-Fi.
Like a USB port.
Or Wi-Fi. She can just do it under Wi-Fi.
Yes, the Wi-Fi. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Zoom, and of course to be able to have conference calls with Zoom, have Zoom meetings, whatever.
Now, does she have a preference for Apple or Windows?
She does. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, she's been a Windows user all her life, and she's just way more comfortable with the operating system on Windows. Mm-hmm. So she wants Windows, and she's looking for a screen that kind of matches the size of her laptop that she uses at work, which is like 14. Like it's 14 inches measured from left to right, not diagonally. Okay. And she wants a high resolution screen, for watching things, and I could spend her like up to $1,500. So
that's a pretty good price, that's for sure. I mean, luckily, you probably don't need to spend that much.
Okay.
But what might be nice for you to do is to buy a laptop and then to buy a second screen, a second monitor, so that this way she can have 2 monitors going when she has her laptop, and she has it stationary on a desk when she's not carrying it around or something like that. Because when you have 2 screens, it's so sweet. Have you ever used 2 screens?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what it's like. I mean, you can have like one screen doing one thing, another one, and so she could have actually, watching a movie while she's, doing her email or whatever she may be doing at that time.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So the reason why, so if you said $1,500, what I'm thinking is that you spend maybe $900 on a really good laptop.
Okay.
And then you can spend another $300 or so on that second screen, and then you kind of have her all set up. And of course, what you want to do too is that you take a nice picture of the 2 of you, and then you have that made into a mouse pad.
Oh, that's a good idea.
and you get her an external mouse too, because because when you're sitting there and you have your laptop, maybe there's
yeah.
You know what I mean. It's always nice to have an external mouse. But
for sure, 100%.
Or or if you don't want to do that, you can just buy a mouse pad. Because guys don't think like this generally. Is that you get?
No, that's a great point. No, I agree. I mean, on a laptop, you definitely want the external. I don't know why, but it seems to work better. Sometimes the the laptop, I don't know, what do you call it when you have a mouse pad? When you have a mouse, but it's not a mouse.
No, it's the trackpad. Yeah.
The trackpad, right, thanks. So that thing, sometimes it doesn't work, and then I plug in the external mouse on my laptop, and voila, I don't know why, but
yes,
sometimes that happens.
Yeah, so I would get her a nice wireless mouse. You don't want to get that, get a wireless one. So this way she doesn't have to deal with that cord. And then get her a nice mouse pad, like I said, picture of you, or a picture of all the kids and the grandkids, something that's really personal. Because that'll be like unexpected, and give that to her last, because she'll be all over the moon with the laptop, and then she'll be over the moon with the monitor, because you'll explain to her how that works, and then you'll give her the mouse, the third thing, and then then you give her the mouse pad.
I have to confess, I mean, I had to let her know that I was seeking your advice, because I would never know all this detailed information about what she wants if I didn't ask her.
Oh, okay. All right.
I had to tell her. It can't be a surprise, because there's just too much, that I need to know before.
For sure.
So I get something that's going to match what she wants.
For sure. So basically, what we're going to look at is a nice Intel, like i7 processor, 1 terabyte solid state drive. Of course, it's going to have the webcam built in, and Windows 11, and a nice touch screen, and what I'm thinking about is about $900. It's a Dell Inspiron. So I'm going to put you on hold, and Amber, who you spoke to already, our lovely and talented call screener today, among other things. She does so much here in the building; it's crazy. But she's going to send you a link out to that Dell Inspiron that I was just mentioning. And then, as far as a monitor, you know what to pick for that. If you need any help with the monitor or the mouse, just let me know, and then we'll go ahead and do some picks along there. But this Dell Inspiron is pretty sweet. And by the way, if you are looking for a laptop, we have the Laptop Finder Quiz. That's right, over at commando.com. Just type in Laptop Finder Quiz, and I'm certain that that's going to pop right up for you. Dan, thank you so much for your call. Give your wife my regards and tell her happy birthday from Kim Commando. All right, I know I'm a little late to the game, but I've suddenly discovered the series Dexter. I know it sounds really horrible, like a guy who's a serial murderer, but he does it for good purposes. I know that plot line, you're like, I would never watch that. And I wouldn't have never watched it before, but I just started watching the series, and I do admit that I am losing some sleep over it. I'm not alone. More than 3/4 of all Americans don't get enough sleep because of their tech. A survey by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine says that 90% of adults have lost sleep due to binge watching. So what do? Now, if you're a chronic binge watcher, turn off autoplay. Makes it super easy to go from episode to episode. So it's designed to keep you engaged, alert, and watching. So turn it off on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, and Hulu. Next, you can create a sleep timer on your TV. This way, the TV will automatically shut off the screen at a specified time. And if all else fails, just go cold turkey. Say, no more streaming for me until I can get enough shut off. Hey, you want to stay right where you are, because we have more great tips, tricks, and secrets coming up here on the Kim Commando Show. Now, I know that there are cameras everywhere you look, but you may not be fully aware of how many times you're being recorded throughout the day. I've got a tip about that coming up. And also later on, mail theft is on the rise, so I want you to make sure that you opt out of these unsolicited credit card offers. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that the easy and free way. And of course, we have all of your phone calls. But before we get to all of that, let's talk about Apple and Google Maps. Okay, tremendous. They're so good at getting you where you need to go, especially when your phone signal is spotty. But you need to know an important trick. Now, before you hit the road, I want you to make sure that you save your Apple or Google Maps directions for what's called offline use. This simple step is going to save your bacon when you need directions, but you hit an area without any cell coverage. So for Google Maps, you start by searching for your destination, type the name or address of the location. Then in that More option, those are the 3-dot menu. Hit that, and that's where that magic appears, download offline map. Now, Apple Maps, I know, late to the party, they just added this feature. Works pretty much the same. Search for your destination, hit that More button, and that's where you can download the map for offline use. Now, heads up. If you're traveling overseas and you want to try to avoid some of those expensive data charges, the roaming charges, I want you to always remember this tip, because having your maps downloaded can keep you from those very expensive roaming fees. All right, back to the phones we go with Beth in Houston, Texas. Interesting question. Hi there, Beth.
I'm a single retired teacher, 63 years old, with a lot of single friends. And they're always looking for a new and improved dating site. And I know it's flooded out there with dating sites, but everybody jumps from one to the next thinking there's going to be a whole new group of people and it's going to be the magic group. You're going to find Mr. Right instead of Mr. Right now.
For sure.
And if Andrew hadn't found his woman of his dreams, then maybe he would like to try this new dating app that I have an idea for.
Okay.
I just don't know how to bring it to fruition. I've never created an app, so I'd like a little advice.
Okay.
Where should I start?
Well, you start with anything. You start with an app just like anything else. You start by jotting down all your ideas, the pros and cons, what you want it to include, the competitive analysis of what is already out there, what exists, and also look at the failures of different dating apps to figure out what they did wrong. Okay. And this is even before you even attempt to build an app. I mean, it's just doing a great, business plan, so to speak. And then once you have all that done, that's when you can start creating mock-ups, and then you visualize what your app is going to look like. You can find somebody locally, you can find somebody on the internet to help you do this. If you're not that artistic person, I'm not. Are you?
A little.
Okay.
I won't say very much so, but I have done a few mock-ups. I've taken notes. I feel like whether my app would be I don't think it'll be just another dating site. I think it will gain interest because I have a 3-part idea that will kind of help them narrow down to find the right person that is a good fit.
Okay.
So,
so we also want to make sure that you protect your idea legally. That's why I don't want you to give out the idea on the air.
Right. So I won't do that.
So it's a good idea for you to, set aside some money and time, spend an hour with a good intellectual property rights attorney and explain to him or her what you're trying to do and ask them specifically, how do you protect your idea? And then they'll walk you through the legal process. I can't tell you how to do that. I'm not a lawyer, but I will tell you that, anytime I need somebody to do this, that's who I look for. I don't do it myself because I can't be good at everything. We have to draw the line somewhere.
Right.
Then there are app builder platforms like Appy Pie. Instead of like apple pie, it's Appy Pie, and Bubble and Adalo, that's Adalo. And so they will give you the tools to build your own app, or you can hire a developer or an agency to do this. You can find people to do this on Upwork, but if you get to that, that's when I want you to call me, because I want to walk you through how not to get screwed, because it's really easy to do that.
That was my concern and why I reached out to you, because I could Google and find places that would help me make it, but I don't know if they're valid. I don't know if I give them my idea and then all of a sudden it pops up here somewhere on the internet, and like you said, I'm screwed.
Yeah, so that's why I want to make sure that you talk to an attorney first. And it's well worth the $500. I know a lot of people are like, it's $500. Okay, let me tell you. Me starting this company and running this business has been the most expensive master's and doctorate's degree in business I've ever gotten in my entire life. Okay. And one of the things that I have learned over time is that you don't skimp on legal resources. That's because anytime I try to do something myself, I'm like, I can read that a contract. I can do that myself. That's when it's like, probably should have had somebody look at that. Didn't think of that, type of thing.
Right.
And so let's take it from there. And then there are places where you're a teacher, you like to learn. Okay. Go to Udemy, Udemy, Coursera, or Code Academy. and look at and take some courses about building an app and take notes along the way. Knowledge is power. So this way, when you go into this, whether you hire a developer or an agency, is that you're going to have a foundation of knowledge, and they're not going to be able to screw you over as easily because you're going to raise your hand and go, what about this?
So you said it was UDME?
Udemy, that's UDEMY. Udemy. And try Udemy or Coursera. There are courses on YouTube, but a lot of these courses and these classes on YouTube, they're going to try to sell you something at the end or in the middle and the beginning, and that's why, like, if you were going to take a course, go to the right place.
Right.
And even if the course costs $10, so what? $10.
Right.
You're going to go spend that in Starbucks. For a cup of coffee, that you can make it home for 50 cents, but it's at Starbucks. So just, let's start here. And then as you start moving your idea along and along and along, and then I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Make sure you add some AI in that. Everybody loves AI, artificial intelligence. Make sure. And look at what Bumble's doing with AI. I know they got a lot of flack for it, like, oh, this is stupid. But what they're trying to do is say, like, two A bots are going to talk to each other and then find the right person for you. Okay, we're going to go there one day, just not tomorrow. So just think of some AI that you can add into your business plan too. Beth, thanks for your call today. All right, step outside your house, and I want you to have a big smile. Show off those pearly whites. Because you're being recorded. Here are 5 places that could be watching you. Number 1, your Uber or Lyft. Lots of rideshare drivers are installing cams, both video and audio, to record. Now, if you live in a one-party consent state, the driver does not need your permission. Number 2, the ATM. Okay, not a total shocker, but the cams often capture this wide angle, which means they're recording the entire surrounding area too. 3, workplace break rooms. Yeah, even when you're off the clock, there could be a camera keeping tabs on you. Next, at number 4, streetlights. Yes, they are becoming so common in cities. Take a look at traffic and public safety. Chicago, LA, New York, they all these large networks of them. And 5, the movie theater. What? Why in the movie theater? To deter and detect piracy. Yes, so smile big. All right, coming up, we still have more of your phone calls you don't want to miss, and also that really great tip on how to opt out of unsolicited credit card mail here on the Kim Komando Show. So right now, you're listening to the Kim Komando Show, right? And I'm so glad that you're doing that. I mean, it's just so rewarding that I have so many people that depend on me and that I can just help have a better digital life. But it goes a little bit further than this. And, every single day I do what's called a daily tech update. So you get the top news story of the day, and then you also get one great digital life tip. Now, let me tell you, I was looking at the numbers of this podcast. They have doubled. Oh my gosh, the number of listens to this podcast that has doubled in the last couple of months. Why? Because it's so good. So wherever you get your podcast, make sure that you get the daily tech update. And it's perfect for, like, say, when you're taking the dog for a quick walk or potty break, you're making your coffee, sipping your coffee, maybe doing a little gardening, just like a short activity. Again, the daily tech update. You can search for my last name, Komando with a K, but I really want you to try the daily tech update. I know you're going to love it. You really will. In my humble opinion, of course, I know, because I write it and I host it and all that other good stuff. But it really is a great product. It really is. That's the Daily Tech Update. All righty then. John in Fort Worth, Texas. Glad to have you with us.
Well, a few months ago, I started noticing similar responses by strangers to posts from my female friends on Facebook. And they start out with flattery, and then they state, oh, I sent a friend request, but it didn't go through. Could you send me a friend request? And if you look at the names and profile pictures on some of these accounts, they're those of retired U.S. military officers, specifically generals. Now, most of your regular listeners probably know by now this is an attempt to initiate a military romance scam.
For sure.
So, yeah. So I started doing a little digging. I did a Facebook friend search on the names of these officers, and it took a few hours, but I found over 5,800 fake accounts pretending to be those of just 19 retired U.S. military officers. And, the number's probably much higher
For sure.
I only counted those accounts with that use the rank and the name, or the name and a matching profile picture. So I've tried reporting some of these accounts to Facebook, but the response I always got was that the accounts did not violate Facebook's community standards.
Nice.
But, it's against the community standards, one, to not use your real name, and two, to pretend to be somebody else, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Well, okay. So if you look at the FBI statistics on these scams, as recently as 2021, the losses in the U.S. due to confidence and fraud and romance scams were about $1 billion.
Crazy.
With about 25,000 victims. Wow. And those are just the ones that are reported.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's a good point. Because a lot of people, they get scammed and they're just too embarrassed to say anything or to report or do anything about it.
Well, I get that Facebook can't stop all the scams on their platform, but do they have to make it so easy for the scammers? Isn't there any other way to get Facebook to take some kind of action on these fake accounts?
Unfortunately, probably not, because you know what? They just don't give a rat's. They don't care.
Well, I've actually written my representatives, and I have gotten no responses. And I guess the only thing I can do is just to try to raise awareness, like calling you on the show. Sure.
I mean, it's a noble effort. And I don't mean to just say, well, it's, they don't give a rat, so we're just going to move on. No, I mean, there is public awareness, and there are so many lonely people. And Facebook, you would think that because it is a publicly traded company, right, that they would have certain community morals and values in order to uphold that, to maintain a good stature within the community that they are serving. But unfortunately, they don't care, or else they would do something about it. They always go back and they whine. They go, oh, we can't do this because there's just too many. There's our algorithms.
Come on. They've got 22,000 employees. All they got to do is to give one employee, administrative rights to lock every one of those accounts with those names and go find the real person, you don't even have to go find the person that has the real account. I mean, if you lock one real account in order to lock out 3,000 fake ones,
you'd think,
is that a big loss? Yeah.
And you know what? And it's a logical solution. But they're going to say, oh, it's like whack-a-mole. We get one down, another one pops up. Yeah. But their algorithms are good enough to censor what's in your newsfeed to only show you what you want to see.
Right.
Okay. Which is very alarming to me, because like 75% of the U.S. population is getting their news from Facebook, but they're only seeing the news that they want to see. Okay. But they can do that. They can track every single thing about us. Mark Zuckerberg can go have his 40th birthday that he did most recently on a $300 million yacht. Mm-hmm. Okay. A $300 million yacht. Okay. It's not just $300 million. Okay. You're talking about probably at least 75 full-time employees. You have to dock it. You have to fill it up with gas. Then you need the Tinder behind it to carry all the toys that you're going to bring, and your helicopter and everything else. Okay. But we still have people getting taken, not just by romance scams, but everything else on Facebook. And he does not care. Otherwise, they would do something about it.
Until it affects their bottom line. Well, maybe if it affects their image and then affects their bottom line, then something will happen. But until then, good luck.
But I'm glad that you called in, because hopefully somebody is listening right now who's getting romanced by a former general who just happens to be living overseas. They just think you're just so great. You're so wonderful. And they can't wait to start a life with you. And you're like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. And then the general says his pension and his retirement check didn't arrive, and he just needs some money to hold over until that check comes in. And then he'll surely pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today, which he'll never do. John, thanks for your call. Have you ever found your mailbox just overflowing with unsolicited credit card and insurance offers? And you wonder, how did these companies get my name and address in the first place? Ah, yes. The credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, Innovis, they provide lists of consumers based upon specific criteria to credit card and insurance companies, for pre-screened offers because you're so good. Yes, it's completely legal, but you can opt out. It's called opt-out pre-screen. Now, this is really interesting to me. Opt-out pre-screen is actually a tool developed by these credit bureaus. Now, I'm sure they were like facing some possible lawsuits or legislation. They're like, okay, we need to come up with some way to fix this. So here's where you need to go. optoutprescreen.com. And then you can opt out for either 5 years or forever. Just fill out the form. Now, if you want to opt out permanently, you have to use snail mail, but it's worth it. You just simply print, sign, and mail a confirmation form. The address again, optoutprescreen.com, optoutprescreen.com. And one more address, winfromkim.com for that free iPhone.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.